What's up, bros and hoes? Are you motherfuckers ready? Because it's time for a motherfucking album review. It's time to talk about the new AAS album. Be excited, be psyched for Infamous, everybody! Yeah! Abandon all ships! Abandon all ships! It's back! It's time, man! It's back! Bros! Bros! This isn't me at all. Abandon all ships, Infamous. Why are we talking about it? Why not? Also, I have a second reason for all of you who are wondering. Because I work in a music store and I noticed that this was something that was being bought by a choice crowd. It was something that we had to consistently restock, this being their last album, Giving. So, with the new album coming out, I figured it was time for me to take a listen and put my 2 cents in. Great! Now, for all of you who might be thinking that I'm just going to sit here and bash this band incessantly for however many minutes this video is, there's one silver lining that you guys have in all of this. I listen to Blood on the fucking Dance Floor. Me talking is better than Blood on the Dance Floor. If I made an album where there was no noise whatsoever, it was like sleep therapy, it would be better than Blood on the Dance Floor. So already, Abandon All Ships, if you happen to be a fan of this band, is better than somebody else. Now for those of you who don't know, and I'm going to guarantee you that for the subscribers to my channel, that's a lot of you, Abandon All Ships is a band that I will describe as follows. They're a band that seems to combine the idea of post-hardcore / metalcore with the idea of Chester Bennington from Linkin Park with the idea of we're in a fucking club. Dubbed electronicore. I said dubcore or dub metal. This really isn't dubstep all that much. There's some aspects, but electronicore actually sounds a little bit better, so I'm going to actually rescind my own idea and conform to electronicore, mainly because it does have a good ring to it. But the genre name is the best ringing thing to the whole fucking thing. This album gave me a headache. And it's not because it is a style that I dislike. Many times whenever I listen to an album that I don't necessarily like, by a band I don't necessarily like, with a genre I don't necessarily like, I don't really get a migraine. It's all just for show. I don't really get a migraine because I'm listening to music, and typically I'm able to sort of figure something out. With a band like Attack, I don't get a migraine from that. It's deathcore, and deathcore is very simple. This is something that is, while still simple, is able to up the complexity with the number of different random aspects that are being thrown in. With the random dubbing, with the random Chester Benningtonisms, with the random deathcoreisms, you really aren't too sure where things are going to go next. And typically, that's a good thing. Typically, that's something that I actually kind of embrace. I like the unpredictable nature of some music that's out there today. However, this is done in a way where it becomes completely and totally disjointed. It becomes so confused in itself that it decays the value of these songs. And these are songs that the longest one is 4 minutes and 17 seconds long, but most of them range in the 2 minute and 30 second to 3 minute and 30 second mark range. The typical amount of time that you would have for a standard single. So already I've probably exceeded that, so I've exceeded one of their songs. Sorry. But yeah, what to really say about this is that it's a scrambled mess. Think about it this way. You're woken, you wake up, it's 9 o'clock in the morning, or whenever you get up, you bunch of lazy fucks, and you decide to have some breakfast. You go into the kitchen, you go into your refrigerator, and you get out a couple of eggs. You crack the eggs, you then take a fork, and you crack the eggs into like a mug or something, and then you just start beating the eggs, scrambling them. Perfect metaphor! It's like scrambled eggs. It's like scrambled eggs. Something that was once one thing has now turned into another thing, and it has done so due to absolute unpredictable chaos that is, in a way, not very necessary, and there's no real rhyme or reason to it. The reason why I say it like that is because whenever you're beating an egg, which sounds so wrong, but just bear with me, you bunch of fucking perverts. Whenever you're beating an egg, you do it many different ways. You can do so in a very harsh style, where you're trying to get the confection done as quickly as possible. You can do so kind of slowly in order to get that milky yellow texture to it. That way it kind of gets a little bit more golden to it. There's many ways to scramble an egg. Whenever you scramble an album, though, whenever you go too far with the scrambling, even with something that's not all of that complex to begin with, then wow, your head just starts to steam and smoke and you wonder what's going on. I honestly don't understand Allure once again, but I've said that so many times within the past couple of months that I almost need a new shtick. I really don't get why something like this is a big thing, or a big deal, and I think it's because for a long time there, everything was very separate but equal, you know what I mean? Like, metal fans had metalcore, they had the aggressive style of music, and then club fans had club music, they had trance, they had their own little universe. I could easily be Cover Killer Trans Nation, and be reviewing and talking about trans music, and I would have just as expansive of a universe as I would for heavy metal, perhaps one that's not as widely covered here in the United States, with the exception of dubstep, but it still is its own separate universe and entity that's out there. Now, by combining the two, you actually make things really, really fucking confusing, because there's no club out there that's going to play something that's this aggressive, because there's really not that large of a segment of the population that's going to go to a club with the preconceived notion that they are going to slam dance. And that is what these kids are doing on tours such as Warped, or on tours such as whatever that this band might be a part of. Uproar, Downroar, Dubroar, whatever. You don't go to a club with the preconceived notion to slam dance. You go to the club to dance like you're on fucking schizophrenic medication. You don't go to a metal show to listen to dance music. You go to a metal show to mosh like you are trying to attack a Viking, or Satan, or God. I don't know. Whoever you want to attack, please insert name there. The two do not mix. They don't mix because it just really causes an atmosphere of not so much unfamiliarity, because this is something that we're growing a little bit more familiar with the infusion of these crossover bands, but it creates an atmosphere of dysfunction. It's a yin and a yang, where one is not, you know, separate but equal to the other. You know, one does not oppose the other in a way that really fits. The overall body does not work whatsoever. I would rather see Godzilla go one-on-one with Jesus Christ in some massive movie marathon for 5 fucking movies than see this attempt to work. Because if it attempted to make this work, it probably would just cause massive corrosion to the Earth's atmosphere. I would rather see Barack Obama kiss a poodle and John McCain, you know, deep throat somebody with cancer. I would rather watch Mitt Romney, you know, ass fuck a goat than listen to this again. But like I said, silver lining, it's still better than Blood on the Dance Floor. See, the reason why it's better than Blood on the Dance Floor is because of the little things. For what it's worth, the Chester Bennington clean vocal side is decent. The club side is decent, but why not just be a club band? The metal side is very weak, very, you know, run-of-the-mill. I can't even call it average. Why not disassociate yourself from that side? What's the need for the combination? What's the need for the aggression? There's really no need for it. And honestly, this combined effort of metal and deathcore with, you know, these clean vocals that are almost emo in nature, and I'm using that as an industry term as opposed to as a blanket statement, has really got to end. And I don't mean just slow up. I mean really just slam on the brakes and turn around and go back home. Because this is oversaturated. And the fact that really bogs my mind down and causes me to lose sleep at night is that kids still don't understand the fact that this is just the same thing rehashed with maybe one little tweak. And the tweaks are so minute. The tweaks are so indifferent that there's really no conceivable difference. I don't get the allure, but I've said that so many times that it doesn't even matter. All I will say is that Infamous will be a title for this album that will be very fitting, because this is something that only a small segment of the population will enjoy, while the rest of it shall pan it and bar it from their memory, or even bar it from their ears, bar it from even entering their ears, almost as though their ears have bouncers that see this band coming and say no. No, 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 no. Boots up asses, baseball bats and faces, lifetime ban. This is the last time I'll be talking about Abandon All Ships. Please do not ask me to talk about them again. I know I talked about them under my own accord and under my own volition. This is one of those times whenever I was wrong. Toodles!